Welcome to America's Day at the Races on FS2. Good to have you with us on this Friday afternoon with live action from Belmont Park at Churchill Downs. Our program brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net. Today, you saw a shot of that sign of your Kentucky Derby winner, Rich Strike. He is coming here to New York for that third and final leg of the Triple Crown of the Belmont Stakes. We have some news on the Derby winner. We'll bring it during the show, along with tremendous action on a gorgeous afternoon here in Elmont, New York. Greg Wolf alongside New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. Good to see you, and we're coming up on this first race in a little bit. We're going to see some two-year-olds making their debuts.
We are. We haven't had that many two-year-old races. I think this is the first Todd Pletcher first we've seen. He's got one in the first at Churchill, which we'll see even before this race, and one here, and I imagine both are probably short prices.
And our feature later today, this is a good group in this allowance optional claiming field, 6 furlong sprint. I thought a contentious field. Forrest Caraway, she better get better as a 4-year-old, this 4-year-old debut. She moves to the Todd Pletcher barn, but it seems like she'll have to run the race of her life to beat this field.
Well, I thought she was dangerous. I like the 5 and 7. They were the two I was going to use. It was sort of a coin flip between the two of them. Rosa Veloce was against the track last time out. But as far as Forrest Caraway, this is 3 back when she won a race at Del Mar. This was the best race she ever ran. The question is, can she run it again? And how will she do for Todd Pletcher off the lift?
If she can repeat this race, you think this will be good enough to win?
I think it gives her a good chance. I don't really love anybody in here besides Rosa Veloce. She's the only one I want. She was against the track last time off the claim. Now, William Morey, who claimed her, Bill Morey doesn't have great numbers off the claim in the dirt, but she was against the track last time. I was going to use those two, but I can understand why others will think it's more open than that.
That's coming up in the 8th. That'll be part of the late pick 5, pick 6 as well, and of course the pick 4. We'll have. We're going to take this coverage up to 1:30. Then we pause for a bit. We're back at 3 Eastern again on FS2, and we'll bring you the entirety or the remainder of that card later on today.
It's very rare that you're here for the early double.
I like being on to kick things off.
No, I like the being on early as well, but it's kind of
fast and firm today in New York, and they are off the turf at Churchill Downs today, so keep that in mind. And we'll bring you some early action at Churchill. We have Paula Duca, one of the Twin Spires out in Louisville today as well. This race is coming up today, presented by Claiborne Farm. You can play it all, of course, with Naira Bets. $200 deposit match, sign up bonus for new members, and that $25 free bet in the Belmont Stakes with that code right there, Belmont25. Download the app or go right there, NairaBets.com, and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. First at Churchill Downs. That'll be our first live action of the afternoon, and here's a first-time starter for Todd Pletcher. He's going to send out 2-year-olds both at Churchill and Belmont to kick off the cards. This is Summon Your Courage, practical joke first-time starter that will have Tyler Gaffleone aboard. Right now, the 2-1 favorite. Post-break when we come back.
Undefeated Grade 1 winner Mastery was a multiple graded stakes winner at 2, including this victory in the Los Alamitos Cash Call Futurity. Now his progeny are bringing top dollar in the sales ring, and his first runners are hitting the track. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
son of Warfront. The sons have done well. War Command, The Factor, Declaration of War. There have been a number of sons now that seem to be getting it done. He himself was, again, versatile like Catholic boy. I mean, he won the Preakness.
But nothing stood in his way. War of Will won the Preakness.
He came back at 4 and won a grade 1 on the turf, going a mile. You know, he's got a big page that's from one of the good Niarchos families.
Look, he was a grade 1 stakes horse at 2. He was a classic winner on dirt at 3. He won a grade 1 on turf at 4. He offers that versatility. He looks a lot like Warfront with a little more stretch and a little more leg. And I know a lot of the knocks against the Warfronts are that sometimes a little small, a little racy. If he throws Warfront's ability and talent with his kind of physique, I think we'll be in really good shape.
Back on America's Day at the Races, and our program brought to you in parts by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. First at Churchill Downs. Good on the main track is what it's labeled, by the way. Good and off. And Andy, what do we have going on here in this first at Churchill?
Got some interesting sires, right? You've got to Justify. It's the second one to run in America. Third one overall, number 2 horse. Obviously, Todd Pletcher's $500,000. They paid a lot of money to the Todd Pletcher horse, and there really isn't much pedigree on the dam side to speak of. I know the practical jokes have gone well. And you even got Steve Asmussen, that horse on the outside that worked the 2-year-old sale. So the Asmussen 2-year-old so far not clicking like we've seen him in the past, huh?
Wait till we get to Saratoga.
We'll see, yeah.
But, yeah, interesting to see a Justify Triple Crown winner, son of that star debut. Had his first winner back on May 22nd out at Santa Anita, a horse named Tahoma. And just his second starter.
This one, Just Beaver's a half the nickname, who won the Frizette here just a few years ago. Speaking of Steve Asmussen, there's a lot more turf, but nickname.
Nickname sold for $3 million.
Yeah.
Didn't quite make that back, but was a grade 1 winner, yeah.
That's right. She was a super expensive
I saw that.
horse.
I had to do a double take.
Now that you say it, I remember it, yeah.
Here is Tussler, and this is the one with experience, was 4th in the debut.
I thought this horse broke a length slow, kind of hung in the stretch, but sometimes there's nothing better than experience.
Yeah, 1 of 2, I should say, with experience. Here's the Justify first-time starter for Mike Maker.
Taking money here is actually favor over the Pletcher one. Probably not a good sign for the Pletcher firster.
Dam won the debut as well. It was on synthetic. Summon Your Courage. This Dam produced 2 13-time winners.
But they were all sort of on the
Lower
cheaper
level,
side, right? I mean, I was surprised at how little dam side pedigree there was given the purchase price.
Owens Leap, Bolt Doro, first-timer for Tom Amos.
Well, always like to see Tom do well. This horse is taking a lot of money, huh? 5-2.
Baytown Get It On has had 3 starts. First time was the best at Keeneland. Ran second.
Yes, unlike my theory that you improve with starts, this one seems to be getting worse.
And Charlie Whiskey, Steve Asmussen, 2-year-old Champ Classic Empire, the sire of Charlie Whiskey.
Worked 10 to 5th, the 2-year-old sale. The one foal that was okay from the dam was a turf horse, and this one, it's just weird to see there be 4 first-time starters, and I understand it's Mike Maker, it's Todd Pletcher, it's Tom Amos, but Steve Asmussen is 6-1.
Yeah.
They didn't really bet his horse that heavily the first or yesterday. The horse made a move and flattened out badly. Maybe he's just waiting with his, hopefully for him, he's waiting with his good firsters. But didn't last year Churchill, wasn't he pretty strong with his first-time starters, 2-year-olds?
He usually is
Yeah.
throughout the year. Well, I'm sure there's many that he's going to unleash
You also
at much
can't
shorter
always,
prices.
Yeah, you also can't always get a barn full of 2-year-olds that can run. I mean, it's cyclical. Sometimes you're going to have really good ones, but you're not going to have them every year.
Well, card begins here with an intriguing 2-year-old race, including the first-timer by Justify. There's the 2 horse. Let's check in live with Paul LaDuca for more. Hey, Paulie.
What's going on, Wolfie? An interesting race in here of 2-year-old Colts and Geldings. When you looked at the board, you thought, or looked at the PPs before the races, the betting opened up this morning, I thought the 3 would take a ton of money. I really did. A horse that was coming in from Belmont. Why would this horse run at Churchill Downs with the Belmont meet going on? Is, I thought it was very interesting. I didn't understand why the 3 would be coming here to run and why Todd is maybe showcasing this horse here for Rapoli Stables and St. Elias too as well. So I thought this first race was very, very confusing. So I'm going to all this race. I thought Justice Saver had a look. I know maybe Baytown get it on the 5. Charlie Whiskey was interesting to me. I'm along with Andy. I don't understand why the horse is not getting bet, because the Brian Hernandez move is actually a profitable move for Steve Asmussen, and I like Brian just in general. 7-8 in the next race. Richie's got swagger. I'm a little scared of Carmelito, but Denver City should be the speed of the speed in that race. Race number 3, the 4 Curbs and Cones for Tom Amos. Tom Amos might have a nice day today. And Appalachian Heights for Fausto Gutierrez, just broke her maiden last time at Gulfstream Park. Race number 4, 5, 9, and 10. I'm not going to let the firster beat me for Gregory Foley. And then race number 5, the 1 Monologue. I'm a little scared that the pace doesn't develop in there. I'm hoping that it does. Sometimes when there's 2 horses that you're hoping on to get to the front end, it might backfire. But Monologue does have some races that you can go to. Tom Drury, very good trainer on the drop. And 2 off over, he's 30%. Guys, it was raining most of the day yesterday, all night of last night, but not very, very hard at all. That's why the track hasn't been labeled sloppy. Starting to come down now a little bit harder. We'll see how it goes as the day goes on, because we're expecting pretty steady showers most of the day, guys.
All right, Paul, thanks. Yeah, we could see that coming down here a little bit already. So right now we're good. Already we're off the turf. We'll continue to monitor the track condition throughout the afternoon here as we get back to this Justify first-time starter, just the 3rd Justify to run from the Triple Crown champ, and he's the 8-5 favorite of the inside post. And Ricardo Santana Jr. will ride for Mike Maker here.
That was interesting that this horse is a homebred for owner Michael Wee has got this horse for what it's worth. It's been working well for Mike Maker. You don't really associate Mike Maker with having precocious 2-year-olds, right? But
yeah.
The way this one's getting bet, you have to imagine can run, because it's got to take a lot to take money in here. But oddly, isn't the one who's bet the strongest Tom Amos? Because against the Pletcher $500,000, the Justify, did you really think this horse would be almost a similar price?
Yeah, I mean, he had him. He was, well, I don't know what that's worth. He was 3-1 in the morning line, but I agree. Yeah, 2 horses from 2 barns that you would have assumed would have taken a ton of money in here. So yeah, you're right with Owens Leap the 4, but a lot of sharp drills as well from the Justify, which is bolstering that price as well. And then here's Todd Pletcher with Summon Your Courage, $500,000 son of Practical Joke. Dam was unraced. We mentioned 2 horses who won 13 times, but yeah, lower level claiming races. But obviously this horse had to impress to go for that price.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong price. Now, Mike Rapoli and Vinny Viola, who own this horse, have teamed up to buy a lot of relatively expensive yearling purchases. So over a lot, the Practical Jokes, they were hot sellers, but obviously they're selling on, confirmation and stuff like that. It's interesting that this horse, as well as the one at Belmont, that's 1-5, were both training together at Belmont Park. Todd shipped this one to Churchill Downs, where the purse is a little bit bigger, but there may be a little bit more competition, and he's left the one in New York here. Now, he may just think both of them can run. We'll see.
Yeah, in that most recent work, as we're looking at the Tom Amos runner, it was Forte, who we'll see here in New York, who slightly outworked his stablemate, Summon Your Courage. This horse, yeah, continuing to take money. Tom Amos, first time out for Michael McLaughlin, son of Bolt Doro. Been training at Churchill, and this one with some sharp bullet drills as well. 3 furlong bullet, 4 furlong bullet on May the 1st, quickest to 42 in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be interested.
2-1 now.
See, yeah, the Amos horse is one to me that's really getting bet. And listen, we've seen Tom be very dangerous with first-time stars. And one thing you'll know with Tom, it's usually true with any firster that takes money, but it's almost certain for Tom. If they take in money, they've got speed. He's a trainer that values speed a great deal, and he'll drill it into him. The good 2-year-olds we saw for him did have speed. This is the one to me, to me, maybe I just read it wrong. But I figured against the Justify, the Todd Pletcher, expensive yearling, I thought the Tom source would be the much bigger price.
Well, right now, vying for Coast's second choice, but third choice there, Owens Leap. Favorite, Just a Fever. We'll see if Justify can get his second winner here early on in his first year at stud, with his first crop, I should say. Going 5 furlongs here in the opener. Churchill to kick off their action under the Twin Spires. Travis Stone with the call.
Waiting for Baytown, Get It On, and Charlie Whiskey. They're in the gate. And they're off. Tussler away, well, Charlie Whiskey from the outside post, right to the front. Charlie Whiskey, the leader. Tussler second. Just a Fever down inside, races up into third. Owens Leap comes on to be fourth, and then it's Baytown Get It On in fifth. Summon Your Courage is at the back, moving up one spot and climbing just a bit. Pretty tight pack, though. Charlie Whiskey, the leader, with 3 furlongs to go. Tussler's right there. Owens Leap 3 wide. Just a Fever right in behind horses. 4 wide for Summon Your Courage. 5 wide for Baytown Get It On. At the quarter pole, wide open off the turn. Tussler in between. Charlie Whiskey at the rail. Owens Leap. Summon Your Courage is switched out. Nothing from Just a Fever yet. 1 furlong to go. Owens Leap comes away with the lead. Tussler's fighting on. Just a Fever's finding stride. Summon Your Courage is there. Final 16th. Owens Leap kicked away and won it. Owens Leap wins by 2. Just a Fever managed second. Tight for third. Summon Your Courage or Tussler.
Ready to roll. First time out. Son of Bolt Doro for the Tom Amis barn. Owens Leap takes the first to Churchill.
And I was wrong about this one having speed. He didn't really have that much speed, but he was able to roll down the stretch and get it done. Seemed like the Justify first or Just a Fever was spinning his wheels behind horses. Ran a little bit when they got him out, but he didn't make a major impact. The 3 Summon Your Courage got left, made a bit of a run, but he never really finished up that well. And Tom was the one, as we said. He was getting a lot of money, and he was the right one.
Little.
Can we please get a Paul LaDuca Tom Amis interview? I mean, that's
If
to
we
me.
can make that happen today, my day is made.
I'm just going to be deliriously happy if that happens.
I don't want to have to wait till Saratoga to hear Tom on the air.
No, I want LaDuca and Amos right away.
Nice first-time starter he has here, and it's good to have any talented 2-year-old first-timer, but to see a horse not just be a burn-off speed runner and show a little professionalism like he did, wide early, nice feeling.
I agree with you. I agree.
First in the books at Churchill. Coming up next, our Spendthrift 2-year-old race of the day. It's brought to you by their exciting freshman sire, who we just saw win, Boldoro, in the first at Churchill. Here we go, 5 furlongs here in New York. Maiden special weight coming up, 1 to 5 on Forte for Todd Pletcher. Let's check in downstairs with Maggie Wolfendale for the first time today. Hi, Maggie.
Hey, Greg. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to go numerically. We'll get to that 1 to 5 shot in a moment. But I'm actually interested in the 1 here. That is Wasabi Boy. And a field of 5 horses in which he's the only one that has legitimate dirt pedigree, whereas a lot of these actually have a bit more turf pedigree. He is by Lord Nelson, who has not gotten off to the greatest start as a stallion, especially with his 2-year-olds, as he's only hitting at 3%. But the Dam Gas Station Sushi, she won the Grade 3 Beaumont, and she did win first time out as a 2-year-old on the dirt. He worked very nicely at the OBS March sales, 21-1, asked a bit, but really covered the ground well. Really has that fluid stride you like to see. And yes, that is synthetic, but still, I think this guy is certainly a dirt horse, dirt sprinter to boot. Just really well muscled, very professional in the paddock. Is wearing blinkers first time out for Rob Falcone, who is a little bit more of an unknown commodity with his first time starting 2-year-olds, but I do think he may have a live one here. Now, the one taking all the money is number 2, Forte. This one, a son of violence who hits at 18% with his 2-year-olds. The dam was a multiple stakes winning turf horse. This is her first full, though the second dam did win a stake as a 2-year-old on the dirt. I'll be honest, he has a little bit more of a turf look to him, but he's very well prepared. He's professional, he's extremely fit, and he's taking all the money. So that must be meaningful, right? As number 4 is Todd's other horse. Gotta like him, son of Tappert. We don't know what we're gonna get with his progeny as of yet, but this guy physically is very mature. He is big and imposing looking. I like that about him, but he may also want a bit more ground to cover. And 2, he's wearing blinkers, Greg, first time out. And, you know, historically through my time here, when Todd puts blinkers on a first time starting 2-year-old, it usually means that they're not quite ready to fire at first asking.
All right, thanks for that, Maggie. They come onto the track through the tunnel. We'll get to the post parade here coming up. You can follow along on our program with all the races. Get stats on the jockeys, trainers, and horses with free Equibase past performances. Go to NYRA.com/TV schedule and follow along. We're going to start out with Wasabi Boy, Robert Falcone, Manny Franco, 7-1 for the Lord Nelson first-time starter.
I'm in the Maggie camp. I think this might be the interesting alternative to the favorite in here. I like that 2-year-old sales work, and always good to hear Maggie saying some positive things.
2-5. Horsey was working with a stablemate, just got beat back at Churchill, as you mentioned, for Todd Pletcher here, son of violence.
Yeah, now that may have been a much tougher field at Churchill Downs, and as Maggie said, maybe the horse could have some trouble, a little trouble out of the gate. But these horses for Todd usually seem to deliver much more often than not.
Vamanos has a race under his belt, son of the Derby champ, Super Saver.
Yeah, that was a 2-furlong race at Parks. The horse did no running. We'll see if it will benefit him today.
Mattress Matt colors, James McInvale with Vamanos. Gotta like him, the 4, 6-1. The other Todd Pletcher, son of the Belmont winner, Tappert.
I don't feel as though you often see Todd Pletcher have the other one win. This one is more of a turfy pedigree on the dam side.
Yeah, Grand Dam 4-time winner on the grass. Please Baby, race day 2-year-old for Rudy Rodriguez.
Thinking if She's Gotta Have It, Please Baby Please. This one worked up very mediocre, 10 3/5, the 2-year-old sale. And I think it's interesting to note that Please Baby is one of the 4 horses out of 5 that were sired by horses trained by Todd Pletcher.
It's amazing.
4 of the 5. Violent, Super Saver, Tappert, and Race Day.
Yeah.
Only 2 of them won Triple Crown racing, though.
He's got a chance to be in the Hall of Fame. Oh, wait, he is.
He's pretty good.
Pick 5 coming up, 183,000 and growing. And there's a look at Forte for the Hall of Famer Todd Pletcher, son of violence. Short price here to kick off our action in Elmont, New York, and Irad Ortiz Jr. will be aboard. We'll have the opener live when we come back.
Idol perfectly timed. Idol gets up under Joel Rosario to win the big gap. It's known agenda for St. Elias Stable.
Race and the race, scintillating performance in the TVG Del Mar debutant.
And Clariere will win the cotillion. Down to the wire. Who's going to win it? It's Mala by a neck.
Curling, the classic sire.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
The sun shines bright on Caraconte. His first crops of racing age are showing brilliance on the racetrack with a high percentage of stakes winners. His versatility is evidenced by winners on all surfaces across the globe. And his offspring are lighting up the sales ring. With his biggest and best quality of books in the pipeline, the sun shines bright on this value sire. Caraconte, standing at Gainesway.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
We're back on America's Day at the races on FS2. You can play it all by getting signed up with NyraBets. Download the app, go to nyrabets.com, Belmont 25. Code to use for new members to get signed up and started. You can also play this contest, and it's free to enter, so no excuse not to get involved. Showdown contest, free to enter handicapping challenge. There are prizes you're competing for as well. Go to nyra.com/showdown to get involved, and we'll show that leaderboard for bragging rights at the end of the program. Back at Churchill Downs, first-time starter for trainer Tom Amos, son of Bolt Doro. Debuting and looking impressive.
Is that the better half of the Amos entry in that photo? Right there?
Yes,
I believe that
there's
is.
Colleen.
What that poor woman had to put up with.
$7.20. It's a team effort. Maybe we just saw the early favorite for the 2023 Kentucky Derby. Let's go to Paula Duca for more.
With winning trainer Tom Amos, I know a lot of people out there, and Andy Serling's getting his wish that he wanted to get an interview. By the way, have you been on your Peloton? You're looking a little svelte.
I don't know. You know, if you're getting bigger here, you got to get bigger up here so it doesn't look as bad.
Well, you do have my number, and I didn't get a text on this Colt by Bolt d'Oro, but the money showed up, and he ran nice, Tom.
Yeah, look, he was a really good-looking athletic yearling when I bought him at Keeneland last year. He maintained that look, and he came to the track very smart, very ready to be a racehorse. So we're really excited about him.
Is this a horse, obviously, you're going to take up to Saratoga with you?
For sure, for sure. I know the buildings get taller up in New York, but for sure, he's one of those horses.
Now, do you think he can go a little bit longer? What's your next step with him?
Yeah, I actually think this might be a little short for him. You know, he broke well, kind of chased from the outside today, Paul. I think he would like to settle more into stride. So as the race get longer, I think that'll be to his liking.
Okay, Andy, I'm going to find the secret. It's either Nugenix, Peloton, or Sean T.
I don't know. Tom's working out to battle against me, but he's going to have to improve his brain.
He is looking good. Who knows? 2-year-olds can change race to race, but I'm sure after that kind of performance, and Tom said he had talent, obviously, before even beginning in this race, showed it in the afternoon. Maybe a horse we'll see in some of these important 2-year-old stakes in Saratoga.
I'd love to see him right away in the Sanford, the Saratoga Special, up to the hopeful. I'd love to see him do well for Tom. And, you have a 2-year-old. You want to win that first time, but obviously you're dreaming of going forward. I think one of the hardest things, and we can talk to Tom about this going forward when he's with us more in Saratoga, one of the toughest things to do is not just win first time, but get him to come back after that first win and run well in their subsequent starts, because we'll see horses go on, but you see an awful lot of horses look good first time out that just never get back to that form. We'll see how he does, and I hope that he does very well for Tom.
Yeah, Owens Leap. Impressive in that debut. Well done, Tom Amos. As we get back to New York in this first race, a minute to post, let's head downstairs to Maggie.
And we'll take a look at the one horse I didn't get a chance to talk about in the paddock. That's number 5 in here, Please Baby, for Rudy Rodriguez, who has had a win with the 2-year-olds. And at least as far as work tabs go, this one does align with that first-time starter that won last week here. And Rudy is a trainer that you see his babies come in here to Belmont Park usually earlier than most. And I think that has led to some of the recent success that he has, because they've been under his care for quite a while now and have just been used to the racetrack way, so to speak. So they're ready, and they tend to be professional, and this guy has been very professional. But as Andy mentioned, didn't work that quickly at OBS, 10-3, but he wasn't really asked for that much. And he just kind of has this big loping stride, which gives me the hint that 5/8 really isn't going to be his cup of tea. He's probably going to want to cover a bit more ground this son of race day, and there is a bit more turf on the bottom side, and he does have a bit more of a turf hoof. So he gives me the impression that maybe we watch how he does. Rudy's getting this race as a tightener, and maybe we see him move surfaces or get a little bit more ground as we head up to Saratoga, because these 5/8 dirt races are the only ones that we see frequently early on in the 2-year-old season. Now, number 2, Forte, continues to be your heavy 1-5 favorite. He was even more professional out on the racetrack, and he moved really well over the surface. I think he runs to the money today, but I'm going to take a little bit of a shot with number 1, Wasabi Boy. Like I said, you're getting a better price. He's been really professional too. He well turned out from a fitness and strength perspective. He looks very strong, and it looks looks as though he might be quick away, which Greg hopefully he is, as he is down on the rail going this 5/8, which that turn does come up relatively quickly here at Belmont Park.
6-1. Thank you, Maggie. On Wasabi Boy, Dam won her debut. Turned out to be pretty good. 6-1 in here. We will see who fires in this debut. Everyone with the exception of Vamanos, this 3-runner for Mattress Mac, James McInville, making their debut today.
Yeah, I mean, is the horse scaring off everybody bet the other horses? Are the other horses just a little bit quiet on the board? Probably a combination thereof. I do think it's interesting that the Todd Pletcher horse didn't run particularly well at Churchill, and this horse has been working with him. On the other hand, the way he ran at Churchill might be good enough to win this race. You know, the Churchill race might have been a much tougher race. You had the Justify, you had Amos's horse. This race on paper doesn't look that tough.
And, you know, back to the other Todd Pletcher, the 4 in here, forget the fact the horse is extremely cold on the board, but pedigree-wise, it seems like a horse that's want to go longer, right?
I agree, and maybe even turf, but I agree with that. And I know a lot of people say, oh, you bet the longer-priced horse from that trainer. Now, that's actually not true for anybody. Particularly doesn't seem true with Todd Pletcher. It doesn't seem like in a situation like this when he has a big priced and a very short priced. Anything can happen in this racetrack, and maybe I've just made that happen in this race, but in general, it's rare. If anything, he entered the other horse to make this race go for the horse for the 2.
As the James McInville runner debuted at Parks in a 2-furlong event, making start number 2. It's our Spendthrift 2-year-old race of the day to kick off our action here in Elmont, New York. Last to load, please, baby. But it's Forte, the 2 for Todd Pletcher, Son of Violence, the overwhelming favorite. Let's go to John Imbrial. Okay, he hops back aboard. Let's go back to John Imbrial.
Start for number 5, please, baby. He trails Wasabi Boy from that inside post out for the early lead with Gotta Like Him now moving up to challenge. The big favorite Forte sits behind in 3rd. Then comes Vamanos in 4th, and it's 4 lengths back to the trailer. Please, baby. Wasabi Boy on the inside and Gotta Like Him on the outside. It is Wasabi Boy by a head. Gotta Like Him on the outside is 2nd. It's 2.5 lengths to Forte in 3rd. The quarter win in 22 and 2/5 seconds. Wasabi Boy holding on to the lead. Forte now making a move on the outside of Gotta Like Him. And the 3 of them hit the top of the stretch together. Wasabi Boy, here is Forte. Forte to the front. Wasabi Boy now back running in 2nd, and then Gotta Like Him in 3rd. It is Forte, who now has a 4-length lead as they come down for the finish. And it will be Forte, who delivers first time out under Erod Ortiz Jr. Wasabi Boy was 2nd. Vamanos finished 3rd.
Impressive first time out. This was a cakewalk for Forte.
It's interesting. The one at Churchill cost $500,000. This one cost $110,000. I think if you sold them right now, they'd pay more for this one. And maybe the Churchill race was tough, but 58.21, I believe, was the final time. We'll see how quickly the track is playing, but assuming the track's sort of a fair, that's a pretty solid time. Professional. Didn't break super well, but didn't break that badly. Settled back, made the run. This is an impressive performance.
And at this point, wrapped up, it was never in doubt, and Forte strolls to victory at 1-5 to start off our action here in New York.
I want to give a little love to Manny Franco. That horse reared in the gate, popped him off the horse, and he just like jumped on his feet and jumped right back on. That guy's tough.
It's amazing. He is incredibly athletic. We talk about it a lot, but yeah, showing off that athleticism right there. 2-1, 3-5. Vamanos at 15-1. Little value underneath. 1-5 over 7-1 over 15-1.
You know, seeing him, I can't help but think a little of Witt last year. Same silks for Rapoli, and Witt won impressively. I'm going to tell you, for me, this horse was more impressive than Witt. Witt got left, and he made that big run. I thought this horse ran very well in here. This horse was professional. I liked this performance. I'm not saying he's going on and becoming a champion, but I thought this was a nice performance.
Okay, better than Witt in his day. Okay.
I thought Witt's day got a lot of attention because he got left and made the big run. I like a horse that's professional the way this horse was.
Okay, fair enough. See what the number comes back as well.
Yeah, of course.
Prices for you when we return. Stay with us. More America's Day at the Races coming up after a short timeout. Todd Pletcher with a first-timer easily in the opener. We're back on America's Day at the Races. Good to have you with us. Program brought to you in part by Run Happy, never lost in his career while sprinting. Now standing at legendary stall number 1 at Claiborne Farm. Race 2 next under the Twin Spires. Meant for the grass or off the turf all day today. And muddy the listing now on the main track here for this 5-furlong sprint. $25,000 claiming race. 6-horse Carmelito. Blinkers come off after that one-race experiment. We'll get to him in a moment. We start with Soul Street.
He, along with Reed Kahn, have a lot of speed. 5 furlongs in the dirt. A lot of these horses actually can run in the dirt. I don't know if he's a player, but he's got speed.
Here is Reed Kahn. Last 2, he's tried to go gate to wire, and he's backed up.
The problem is that the horses that ran 1, 2, 3 were all forwardly placed in that race, so it wasn't crushed by the pace, and he's got to deal with Soul Street in all likelihood.
Caramelito, 2-1 right now. Again, those blinkers off. He didn't seem to love the mud at Keeneland, 2-back.
Yeah, I don't know why this horse on the dirt is supposed to be favored or 2-1 at this point. Maybe because the other horses burn themselves out, but I don't think he's a dirt horse.
Richie's got Swagger 5-1. Ricardo Santana Jr.
This horse off the claim for Diodoro, and he's 5-1 right now. I thought this horse is a massive overlay at this point.
Yeah, one of the best claiming trainers in the country and a big number. And then 2-1 favorite outside Denver City, Michelle Lavelle.
Has the best dirt races of these recently. That was at Fairgrounds back in February. A logical horse, should have that good outside position. But another horse that has a lot of speed. I know it's only 5 furlongs, but this pace could get pretty hot. I'm going to bet a couple dollars on Richie's Got Swagger.
Yeah, looks like that is potentially the best one to benefit from this pace in here. Well, I mean, the 3 speeds, the 1, the 3, the 8. I know Denver City switching to dirt last time out didn't make the lead, but had a compromised beginning. I mean, that Denver City's really quick outside.
I agree. I mean, all these horses are fast. Reed Kahn is a bullet. Soul Street, I don't know if he still has that speed, but look at how fast he is. I mean, it's 5 furlong. It's hard to believe we're not going to see them moving up front in this race. Now, that doesn't mean one of the speeds can't win. They're only going 5. But it feels to me like they're going to be a little bit of pace in this race.
Yeah, 3 speeds and 2, like Caramelito and Richie's Got Swagger, the 6 and 7, Paulie, who can benefit from a hot pace up front.
Yeah, and I think that's why Carmelito is getting bet, because when you look at the PPs, he's truly one of the only horses in here that's actually passed horses. Now, blinkers are coming off after a one blinker experience, but how far back is he going to be? This is going to be a sizzling pace in here. And if the 8 horse, and the reason why I went 7-8 in here is I think the 8 might be the quick of the quick. If the 8 can get to the front end and go on with it. But the 7, I'm with Andy. 7 is a win bet for me. You're getting 9-2. Why would Robertino Diodoro, one of the better claiming trainers, Flying Peace Stable, claim an 8-year-old Illinois-bred gelding by Benny the Bull that's basically been running in Chicago, in the Chicago circuit, and then they brought the horse down to fairgrounds. He scooped this horse up. Horse at the end of the, not the end, the beginning of the year, sort of was getting a little bad. And if you looked at his last race, he actually did not break well. I think they've hit the reset button with the 7, and you're getting a great price at 4-1.
All right, Paulie, thanks. Yeah, they claim this horse, as Paulie mentioned, for $17,000. He made $58,000 last year. And Illinois, they got a lot of options of where they can run him.
They do. Diodoro, Hawthorne might be one of the few tracks that I don't think Diodoro runs horses at. But maybe I'll have to with this Illinois bred.
Meanwhile, here is the favorite, and Denver City, the only reason he wasn't on the lead last time out, compromised beginning. This horse is quick. He's very quick on turf, and he's quick on dirt also.
Yeah, I mean, he ran against also monsters last time, and Baby Yoda and Divine Leader. They would destroy this field. I don't have any problem. He's a very logical horse in this race. I don't have a problem with him. To me, the horse you want to bet against is the 6. That horse I don't like.
Just one start on dirt. It was in the mud at Keeneland at 7 ace for $25,000, and was a beat one horse. I'm perplexed as you are as to why this horse is taking the money he is.
Well, I think we've talked about this quite a bit in the show, and we've seen the evidence of it. The most misbet races that remain in horse racing are off the turf races. People will get hung up. They'll say, well, I like this horse in the turf, so I'm going to bet it on the dirt. Well, this horse ran once in the dirt and ran abysmally, and it was a wet track like this. It seems that he's just a better turf horse. And I'll tell you something else. I'm not sure he's in particularly great form anyway. So, no. Listen, nothing's going to surprise me here. I suppose you could see a 3-horse battle, and the 6 and 7 will be the only stragglers left. But I just think based on his form, there's no confidence he's a dirt horse. And the 7 obviously is a dirt horse. He's really more of a dirt horse, not a turf horse. And the 8 horses run just fine on the dirt before. So they just seem like much more logical horses.
Here's one of the 3 speeds in the race. This is Soul Street, 7-2, Tyler Gaffleone. Joe Sharp took this horse off of Tom Amoss last time out. This horse has moved, well, Tom Amoss, it's gone from Tom Amoss to Joe Sharp to Tom Amoss back to Joe Sharp, all in the last 4 starts.
So you think Tom's going to be feeling his oats after the last race? He's looking to claim the horse back? I don't think after this horse's performance last time, Tom will be claiming the horse for a quarter after losing it for $8,000. My man Tom is smarter than that, okay?
Yeah, and how about that?
A lot smarter.
Beat it 4-5 for $8,000, and now the jump up to 25.
Well,
but I know they were trying to get him on the turf.
Right. I mean, this is the for people to understand, this is the bottom level turf race. You can't get in a cheaper turf sprint, I don't think. So, but I think it's important to note. But also, listen, this horse has back form that would win. But
do you? And this was went for the grass. Horse had never been on the grass. Do you think they claim this horse with that intention?
Well, I imagine Joe probably saw the forecast and there's a chance the race comes off. But I would guess that he thought the horse ran so badly, why not give him a shot in the turf? Maybe.
Yeah, why not, huh?
You don't see a lot of 7-year-olds try turf for the first time and win, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so this one's made 16 career starts as well. But for now, in the immediate future, it's remaining on dirt for this horse, son of McLean's Music.
McLean's Music started with cloud computing, and he's done terrific since then. It's a shame he wasn't sound. 114 buyer to begin his career, fastest
he ran
buyer
too fast
figure
too
ever.
early.
Never ran again. Stone Street horse. So really a shame.
2-1 favorite. One of these 3 speeds outside Denver City with Gabriel Saez for Michelle Lavelle. This one's 6 of 13 career starts. There he is stepping in. Who will be the quickest of the quick? The 1, the 3, the 8, they are all fast. Let's go to Travis Stone for the call.
And the rough. even beginning. Denver City from that outside post, and Reed Kahn is there. Soul Street hustled hard for that inside draw. But it's Denver City who crosses and clears and takes a clear advantage past the half-mile pole, leading by 2. Reed Kahn up into second. Soul Street at the inside is third. 4 lengths back, Richie's got swagger. And Carmelito's the trailer, 8 lengths off with 3 furlongs remaining. And Denver City to catch. A clear-cut lead of 2 is around the turn. Reed Kahn now a clear second as Soul Street is back into third. Richie's got swagger, comes alive on the outside fourth. Off the turn, Denver City confronted by Reed Kahn. Here comes Reed Kahn, and Richie's got swagger. Continues to rally down the center. At the 8th pole, Denver City digs in. Reed Kahn surges. Richie's got swagger rallying down the center of the track to the front. Richie's got swaggers in front. Reed Kahn tries to move with that one, but Richie's got swagger, got it. Wins by a length in the end. Reed Kahn was second. Carmelito rallied for third. Denver City and Soul Street.
This appeared to be the one you wanted in terms of those that could close into a hot pace. Richie's got swagger. Diodoro off the claim.
It looked too easy on paper, didn't it?
It did.
It felt like the horse was dead on the board. I think it went up 7-2. I don't know if it changed in the end. I can check my Naira Bets account, but horse rallied 9-2. I'll tell you something else. Got a lot of moisture in the track. 2 races, not going to make any major conclusions. The 8 collapsed in there down the inside. We saw Amos's horse rally in the middle of the track. We saw the other 2 horses, and they were the right horses. I'm not declaring a buy, but I would be paying attention to this because it does feel like their better movers were a little outside.
Yeah.
Now, this horse got a very good trip to get there. Reed Kahn ran surprisingly well rating. I wonder if you don't want to be inside. Is that possible? It's possible, but...
You don't want to be inside.
I'm wondering if you don't want to be inside. And you wonder if the riders will adjust a little to that and try to start staying off the rail.
Ricardo Santana Jr., Flying P stable. Robertino Diodoro, and this claim instantly paying off with a win.
9-2. Longest shot on the board.
Wow.
Nuts.
Back at Belmont, first-time starter for Hall of Famer Todd Pletcher. Forte, as easy as could be in this debut.
Well, how... It wouldn't be right for Todd Pletcher not to win a race where 4 of the 5 horses were sired by horses that he trained. And you know, it's very early, and I'm not declaring him the Derby winner or even the hopeful winner. I like this horse. I thought that, I mean, we'll see how quick the track is as the day goes on. I think this was a very professional.
Who impressed you more of the 2 firsters we saw win at Churchill for Tom Amos and this horse? Or
well,
hard to say.
It's hard to say because this horse, we don't know if this horse beat anybody.
Yeah.
Tom's horse beat some legitimate barns and expensive horses. It's an interesting question. We'll see what the things look like, and we'll see what happens.
Spendthrift 2-year-old race of the day in the books. Let's head downstairs to Maggie.
Todd Pletcher here with an impressive 2-year-old first-time out winner, Forte. Todd, he did everything right, and based upon the money he was taking, I'm sure you were expecting that.
Yeah, he's one of the first 2-year-olds to come in down at Palm Beach, and he's just been a real professional since day one. He's trained really well. You never know with a first-time starter, but you know, we were expecting good things from him, and glad he delivered.
He really ran through the wire with a precocious type like him. Do you eye a race like the Sanford or the Saratoga Special moving up to Saratoga?
Yeah, we would hope to go straight to the Sanford off this. That's what we were hoping for, and I think you know, he certainly showed that he belongs in that type of race next time.
Andy Serling making comments that he looked better than Witt did, debuting this time last year as well. But you also have a very nice New York bred in your barn, American Revolution, coming back. We haven't seen him since the Cigar Mile and that Grade 1 victory. He's coming back in the commentator against New York breds. Is it total domination time again?
I mean, he's a really nice horse. You never know. He's coming off a long layoff. You know, we're starting the season off, hopefully have him prepared to run well without this being the season-long goal. He looks great. He had a good winter at WinStar, and he's matured into a beautiful horse. So we're hoping for a big season from him.
Excited to see him back at the racetrack, but congratulations with Forte. Looks like a nice one.
Thank you.
All right, Hall of Famer Todd Pletcher debuting a nice Son of Violence today. And Forte, looking forward to the future with him up at the spa. Greg?
Maggie, thank you. And we got to say what an incredible job Todd Pletcher did with American Revolution as well. That horse, in just about a 6-month span, he didn't start till about June of his 3-year-old season. In that short time span, became a Grade 1 winner.
And a kind of horse that's competitive. It's 6 furlongs, and it feels like he can probably run all day.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what Todd does with him. Obviously, life is good they're pointing him towards the Whitney. I don't think that Todd wants to point these horses together. Does he, if things go well, and the commentator, does he point towards the Bourbon 1.25 miles? The way he ran in that Albany, he just seemed to get stronger and stronger as the race got longer. And then maybe you look towards the Jockey Club Gold Cup at the end of the Saratoga season. It's nice to be in a position like Todd Pletcher's in, where potentially you're trying to keep Grade 1 horses apart.
We're going to take a timeout. We're going to talk Kentucky Derby winner who passed on the Preakness, Rich Strike. We know he loves Churchill Downs. How's he going to take to Big Sandy? Gearing up for the third and final leg of the Triple Crown, the test of the champion. Can Rich Strike do it again? Stay with us. We'll be back.
Global Campaign by 2, and Global Campaign will win the Grade 1 Woodward.
It is Global Campaign holding on to the lead. Global Campaign. What the Peter Pan?
We take pride in what we do.
I'm an assistant trainer.
Carpenter.
I'm a peace officer.
I'm a jockey.
I'm a gardener.
I'm a groom. I love what I do.
We are New York Racing.
New York Racing helps support my small business.
It's extremely important to the New York economy.
This is like a big family.
We are New York Horse Racing.
He was just put together like a machine, and he had a great mind. Everything about him was what you'd want.
Tis the Law pops the cork in the champagne.
Tis the Law is going to win the first leg of the Triple Crown.
I've never seen him get tired.
Respect the law. Tis the law.
His structure is just perfect. His bone is perfect.
He's left the others behind. He's going to win the Run Happy Travers.
He's everything you would look for in a horse.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back with you here on FS2 at America's Day at the Races, our program, again, presented by Nyra Bets. Go to nyrabets.com, download the app, get signed up and started to play along for third and final leg of the Triple Crown. That is coming up June 11th, Belmont Stakes. Derby winner Rich Strike passed on the Preakness. He'll return for the Belmont for the test of the champion, and you can be part of the action. Get your tickets now at belmontstakes.com.
Amazing day of racing. It's just
truly
incredible.
one of the great days of racing the entire year.
I agree, and you've got 8 Grade 1s on the card. Tremendous matchups we're looking for those races. When you think about Speaker's Corner and Flightline, along with last year's Breeders' Cup Sprint winner Aloha West squaring off in the Metropolitan Mile.
I might be biased a little bit too, just from a pure aesthetic standpoint too. My favorite trophy of the Triple Crown.
Really, it is a great trophy. I agree. Not the Woodlawn Gods. They won't even let you touch the Woodlawn Gods.
Really?
The real one. The one they're holding up there is a replica.
Okay. Here's the field that is waiting to face the Kentucky Derby winner, potentially, Rich Strike. No horse will have run in all 3 legs of the Triple Crown this year. This race, what a performance. Second biggest upset in the history of the Kentucky Derby. Got that hot pace, but ran a big race as well.
No, he did. And he wove through traffic, and he was really finishing. And he outfinished Mo Donegal. He outfinished Barber Road. And got a lot of credit for that. Maybe he's a horse. Listen, maybe he caught lightning in a bottle, and obviously the pace scenario aided and abetted him winning the race. But he still outclosed the other closers in there. And maybe he's a horse that just needed dirt all along, and he just started coming to his own as a 3-year-old. I still think the Preakness would have been a better race to find that out, shorter, because the Belmont Stakes, not a great race for horses that like to come from 100 behind.
Still, connections, believe. He just mentally, as much as anything, they felt he's not a kind of horse that could come back in 2 weeks. So that's why they waited for this spot instead. And we'll get a chance to see him again here in 2/3 of this Triple Crown. We got to wait and see who's going to line up in the race, but it'll be interesting to see what price he goes off at.
Yeah, I mean, after this ridiculousness, the wagering this weekend at Pimlico that saw Fenwick at 13-1, one of the most ridiculously overbet horses in the history of the game, who knows what's going to happen in this race and how short he could actually end up being. I've seen people criticizing Irad Ortiz for going around with Mo Donegal while this horse went inside. Let me say two things. First of all, Irad was outside of this horse, so he couldn't have the option. The other one is Sonny Leone was riding a horse that was 1,000-1. He had to gamble to win. He could have got stopped in there and never would have heard about him. Irad Ortiz is riding one of the favorites in the race. If Irad Ortiz stayed inside and got stopped, he'd have gotten destroyed, and rightfully so. Yeah. You know, he's not Irad Ortiz by accident.
And winner's circle here, real quick though, just to wrap up on Rich Strike, is going to work again on Memorial Day.
Between the 5th and 6th races, there's a rumor that Paul LaDuca is going to work him. I don't think it's true, but it's a reason to tune in.
That. Yeah. Richie's got swagger benefiting from the hot pace up front. Off the claim, Robertino Diodoro, Flying P Stable, and Ricardo Santana Jr.
He got the setup. It looked like on paper. It's just hard to believe this horse was the longest shot on the board on paper. You and I were talking afterwards and saying if you had just looked at this race, who was left in here, you might have said he would have been the favorite. You certainly wouldn't say he'd be the longest shot on the board.
Yeah. 9-2, $11.60 for the victory. This weekend, it is back. Cross-country Big 5. Churchill and Belmont kicks off at 4:22 Eastern with that 8th at Churchill, and the Grade 3 Soaring Softly is part of that sequence. Race 9 on the Belmont card, 7 furlongs on the turf. As mentioned, Grade 3, 3-year-old fillies, and Christophe Clement is going to send out 3 in this race.
But only one of them probably really matters in Darien. The morning line favorite, Haughty, worked this morning, which means it's highly unlikely that she's going to run. It's a very likely scratch from here, which may leave Darien as the favorite.
So Darien, 3-year-old comeback for her, was at Keeneland in the Limestone, and late really starts to kick into gear, but it was a little too late, misses by a neck.
Yeah, and she lost to a pretty good horse as well in this race, but she, you know, people were saying, oh, Joel Rosario's too confident. What are you talking about? The guy's pumping away on the horse.
Yeah.
She's taking a little while to get her legs under her. She was unlucky to lose the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. That's a mouthful last year. That's a very good horse. I think the question that Christophe wants to know is, even though 7 is a one-turn elongated sprint, is she a horse that'll have that same closing punch as they go longer? Sometimes they don't.
We've been watching this race from Charty Party on the show, and I could watch it again and again and never get sold. Just an incredible debut. Doesn't break tremendous from the get-go and immediately in a bad position, but in the stretch finds another level.
But what I liked about her was after that break, sometimes when they break like that, especially firsters in the rail, they really drop out of the race. You know, they take that big drop back. She actually stayed in the race. But at this point, she's sort of hopelessly buried inside of horses. The horses 1, 2, 3 finished 2, 3, 4, so this race did not fall apart. She was in a race by herself, and she was flying. Can she come back and duplicate that effort? Will she have the same closing kick going 7 furlongs?
Here we go.
Excuse
Turns
me.
it on right there.
All questions you have to answer, but whew, look at her.
That's something to behold.
Yeah.
The gear she finds there to run down that field. I mean, it looked like mid-stretch. She'd be lucky to get a piece of it.
She got out in the clear on the outside and just took off. That was an impressive win. Darien very good, though.
Wesley Ward with Charty Party, Clement with Darien. It's going to be a fun Grade 3 edition of this Soaring Softly we will have for you on Saturday, part of that cross-country Big 5. We are done temporarily. We're back on FS2. 3 Eastern will rejoin you with the rest of the card from Belmont and from Churchill Downs. Thanks for being with us early on in here, and again, we'll see you at 3 Eastern. A couple of intriguing first-time starters. Tom Amis, first time out with Owens Leap. Bolt Doro, debuter. Edgar Morales in the irons for the victory. Impressive and professional in that first start in the Hall of Famer Todd Pletcher Rapoli stable. St. Elias stable, Forte odds-on winner. Does not disappoint to kick off the card here in New York. 2-year-old son of violence. We'll see you again 3 Eastern on FS2.